Before the game yesterday, all the talk was about Pochettino being under pressure and that he'd lost the dressing room. The players didn't want to play together. They were disinterested and everyone wants to leave. The training methods are all out of date, and he's just saying the same thing as he said for the last 5 years. So everything is going wrong. But when everything starts to go wrong, it always just seems to heap even more pressure on you. Serge Aurier getting himself sent off and Hugo having a brain fart and kicking the ball into the back of his own net kind of makes you wonder, are we ever going to get out of this? In my view, the pressure wasn't really on Pochettino, for me. The pressure was on the players. I wanted to know, do you really, really want to play for Tottenham? Do you really, really want to play for your manager? Are you a professional? Are you going to do your best for your employer? Southampton ain't a fashionable club. They're the sort of team that most people would go, yeah, happy to play them when we're going through a bit of pressure because, they're an easy team. Well, they ain't an easy team. They're a Premier League team. And they're a Premier League team because they deserve to be a Premier League team. They were under pressure last season and they got themselves out of it, actually beating us at home after being behind. So, you can't ever take it for granted that you're going to beat a team. So it was always going to be tough, and I think every game this season will be tough because the expectation of supporters is going to be massive. So gets off to a great start, a great finish by Tungai Ndombele. Nice ball laid back to him from Sonny, who kind of improvised that. He was going to go one way and improvised it back to Ndombele, who again hits a goal with a rocket of a shot, unstoppable, and 1-0 ahead. Nice little celebration, bit of a piss take about VAR with old Serge Aurier. They're clearly quite friendly. Everything's looking rosy in the garden. Not too long later, Serge Aurier decides, I'm going to jump in and make a tackle that I don't need to make and take a player out. The player's going to make the most of it, and you're going to get yourself a yellow card. Okay. Within 10 minutes of that, what happens? He fouls the same player again. This time, cutting him off as he's running. There you go. Second yellow. You're out of the game. And you start to think to yourself, why? Why does he do that stuff? Now, in the cold light of day, having thought about it and watched it back a couple of times, the first booking, absolute booking, brain dead, stupid tackle, the sort of tackle that Serge Aurier is known for, and the reason why he doesn't seem to be able to nail down that right back position. The second one, I've said before on my Twitter that I didn't think it was a booking. It kind of looked to me like he was running alongside the player. The player tries to cut inside him and trips over his feet because they get tangled up. Yes, it could be a booking. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it shouldn't have been a booking. But if that had happened even 10 minutes further on in the game than when it did happen, I don't think he gets booked, and I don't think he gets sent off. There were far more tackles more warranting of a yellow card than maybe that one. And I think because Aurier had made such a stupid tackle 10 minutes prior, he gave the referee a decision to make. And the referee's going to go, you know what, mate, I ain't having it. You're off. Mountains of pressure. And there we go again. You start to think it's all going to go Pete Tong. So we kind of start to try to get the ball going again, and a nice easy back pass to our captain, who, to be fair, isn't known for his kicking. And he decides, you know what, I'm going to do a drag back here. This guy's chasing me down. I'm going to do a little drag back. I'm going to whip it round him and then make him look a fool, and I'm going to oof the ball up the pitch. Oops. The drag back ends up right back in the net. Hugo, what are you doing? You're not a footballer, mate. You're a goalkeeper. What are you doing trying to play football? So, heads drop, my head's down. I'm like, here we go again. We're under pressure and we're never going to get out of it. This is going to be a disaster of a game. Twitter's going to go absolutely garrety, and we're not going to be able to have a decent conversation with anybody for at least 3 days before we get into the Bayern Munich game. This team is playing together. Don't think Pochettino has actually lost the dressing room. The media can say it. People on social media can say it. But the proof is in the pudding when you're watching the game. Now, this wasn't a great performance. I'm not going to say it was. But at the heart of that performance, Harry Winks, Harry Kane, Son Heung-min, those players decided, not going to let this go. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep playing. And we're going to do our best to win this game for our manager and for our club. Those 3 players in particular stand out for me. Harry Winks, for me, is becoming a really important player in the team. I know he gets a little bit of stick from some quarters, but for me, I think he's really developing into a really sound, quality player, pulling strings and setting up attacks. Now, not everyone's going to agree with that, and that's their prerogative. But I personally thought he had a really good game yesterday. I thought he did particularly well, considering the deficit in men on the pitch. He kind of ran around marshalling that whole midfield and making sure that we kept going. Sonny, for me, I thought was really good as well. His touch, his play, his endeavour was excellent. And Harry Kane, what can we say about Harry Kane? The guy scores where he wants. He just well, for me, he's just world class. He's one of the best strikers in world football at this moment in time, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves, basically because he plays for us, and people want to see us fail. But for me, I thought he did really, really well, led the line really, really well, plays like a captain, says the right things, and you can tell that he is passionate about this club and about this team, and he wants it to do well. I will give a little shout out to Hugo, who did redeem himself for his mistake. Fortunately, he made at least 3 real top quality saves, and I don't think there's any doubting that Hugo, he's a great shot stopper. He's up there with the best of them, but his kicking and his mistake making is just, he's just going to have 1 or 2 of them in a season. Even in the World Cup final, he did a howler. So, I don't think you'll ever get that out of him, unfortunately. But he did overall have a decent game. And in his after match interview, he did say it's not about where you are; it's about how you react. And I think that's really really important. I think he's right in what he's saying. His head could have gone. He could have lost it and let in a couple of others after that, and we could have been on the end of another defeat and even more mounting pressure on our manager. So he did keep us in the game. He did keep us in the game and see us through. He played a really important part. Eriksen. Now this is a big debate. I mean, a lot of people before the game were saying, "Don't let this guy anywhere near my near my club. Don't want him in the team. He's letting us down. Blah blah blah." After the game, some people saying that he had a decent game. Some people saying no, he didn't have a decent game. I won't go over the top and say that he was excellent, but equally I won't say that he was pony. He actually did contribute to the team. He did make some important passes and stuff. Do I think his head's totally in the club? Not sure. I'm really not sure. Something isn't quite right. Does he desperately want to go to Madrid? Do Madrid actually want him? Has someone upset him? It's so difficult, isn't it? Because we're not there. We're not part of the club on a day-to-day. So you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's being said. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So you're kind of left wondering and listening to rumours and stuff. So I'm going to have to say it. I'm going to have to put it out there because it has been written about around social media over the last few days that this all stems from the fact that Jan Vertonghen has tried to bang his missus. Now, apparently Harry gave him a dig and it split the dressing room because some people were all for that and some people were all against it. Yeah, we ain't Chelsea and Jan Vertonghen ain't John Terry, and I'd be absolutely shocked if that was the case. But I'm going to have to mention it because everyone's talking about it. Seems ridiculous to me, and it makes absolutely no sense. I just think that Eriksen is going through a poor run. I think he shows flashes of his undeniable quality, but not enough. But I've said before, I don't think this is a brand new thing. Eriksen has been controversial, shall we say, for at least the last 2 seasons. He is absolutely important to the team when he's playing well, but an absolute liability when he's not. The trouble is making sure you get the quality and not the liability. What it takes to make that happen, I'm not sure. Without actually knowing the player personally and knowing the circumstances, it's hard to tell. But I have to say there doesn't seem to be any animosity with him and the rest of the team. They do still seem to be playing together. There doesn't seem to be any friction when you're watching them celebrate or play or at the ends of the games or whatever. It's quite interesting to see Harry and Jan share a hug at the end of the game after the win. I didn't see any kind of any issues there, so make of that what you will. The other thing I just wanted to touch on at the end of this, which is not strictly related to the game, but there was media reports again from an unknown source, a senior player who's saying that Pochettino's training methods are boring. He's just doing the same thing that he's been doing for the last 5 years. Well, if that's true, and I doubt it very, very much, surely after 5 years of doing the same thing, you won't be making the same mistakes if you were one of those senior players. Just saying. If you've been practicing it for 5 years, surely it's time you were getting that right. Okay, so that's the end of my video. If you like these videos that I do, please subscribe to my channel. I'm up to 301. Thank you for all of those that do bother to watch them. And thank you very much for all those that do bother to comment. I do read every comment and I do try to respond to as many as I can. If I've got something that's not going to get me into a war with you, because I do like to say what I think. But yeah, have your say. Say what you want. It's up to you. At the end of the day, though, let's just keep it going. Up the Spurs.